Morning, everyone. Does God go on vacation? Does he go on one of these babies? Would he do that? Does God go on vacation? I mean, some cynics would take that to mean something entirely different, actually. They would think that that means, does God go on vacation from this world and have no responsibility? What does the word vacation mean? I looked this up. Do you know what it comes from? Maybe the French vacation? Maybe, I don't know. Let's look it up. Vacation means late 14th century, freedom from obligations, leisure, release from some activity or occupation. From Old French, vacation. Okay? Get that French thing going. It also means a vacancy or a vacant position. Interestingly, a vacation means there's an empty seat. Don't we say that about David HaMelech? That Shalom Melech noticed that his seat was empty. And that's how we know his relationship with David. He noticed it was empty. There's something missing there. But it's the negative that brings out the positive, right? There's always the negative space that defines in the more clear, all-encompassing way. That's we know by Yedias HaShlila, by understanding things that God is not, we understand more of what God is. Does God go on vacation? So my children had a debate this Shabbos, which of their parents was a better vacation dude. Good morning. So, hello. Which is the better vacation parent? Because I'm like, you see where my head is, okay? Do you see me looking up which lakes that are the best ones to visit? Do you see me doing that? Not really happening. So they said that I'm the better vacation person because even though I'm not going to be able to be the one that's going to find the place to rent the boat and all that, when you give me the boat, if you give me a windsurfer, just give me a nice wind. Be the wind in my sails, Hashem, and I will fly. I used to head dip. If you know in the right, I can head dip. Baruch Hashem. That is an exhilarating feeling. Okay. We have to tap in what exhilarates us. Some people like bungee jumping and weird things like that, okay? Some people love skydiving. Good morning. Some people love skydiving. My son, for example, he loves skydiving. So I got to this whole thought about, what if you're not inclined to be into that world, but you have to be in that environment? How do you approach it? For example, I've been talking about the 5-minute vacation, haven't I? For how long? Because I have my 5-minute vacations right here. And for me, I'm happy. But what if you have a firstborn son, for example, that really wants you to be there, but he doesn't even care. You know what? He actually likes the aspect that I'm willing to give, which is when I'm there, I am there. I'm totally there with you. It might not be like I'm going to be as inclined even to want to do it, but once I'm there, I love being with you. I think it's amazing. So it got me to look into the question, because like shidduchim is like the thing, right? When you have 21-year-old children, 22, etc., 20, whatever, you have a lot of kids really quick. And therefore, this becomes a real issue. So what do you look for in shidduch? What if do you go through a checklist and say, do you like playing Othello? Do you like tap dancing? Do you do that? And then say, well, okay, you don't? You're done. Yeah, forget it. Check that out. Isn't that wild? So the real way to approach it is not on that basis. It's rather who you're getting to know. Because, listen, the person, your relationship, you're more in atzmiistic, a relationship that's beyond environments, even though that's very telling, extremely telling about a person. But I think that the wisdom is first, okay, so there's advice. Do you go on a shidduch to have fun or to get to know the other person's goals? Which should it be? You have two lines of thought, very much like, the general idea is that you're supposed to find out if you're compatible. That's the whole premise of Jewish dating in the classic sense. But halachically, interestingly, The only thing is whether you love the person. So that's a halachic basis. There's a cultural aspect here and a halachic basis. The halachic basis, you can't marry without going on shidduch. Why? Because what if you don't love her? That's contrary to Avos Yisrael. I mean, I'm thinking about it. I keep on learning that mimer about beholding the Shekhinah. And it's confusing me so much because it's talking on one level about a very mystical experience, but the foundation for it is what? It starts talking there about achdus, about connecting with people, being sensitive to other people. And that's the whole premise for davening. So I found that so confusing because the topic is so mystical, and that is such a grounded, emotional level, like care about another person. And then you can behold the Shekhinah. That is awesome if you think about that. So that sets up this sort of philosophical foundation where it's all about the other. That's what it's all about. Okay, so I have some other things. I have so much to tell you. When I go through Shabbos, forget about it. It's insanity. Because I get a lot of time. I was up early and I davened late. So I had a lot, and the days are long, right? So, what was the first shidduch? We have to find. You have to have ideas. You look for answers from the Torah. Okay, that's really the way it happens. I could prove that. Okay, because it's a bit of a conversation. We'll take me off topic. Remind me to talk about it if you want. Oh, I had an amazing experience today. Before I get to this, I don't want to forget to tell you because it was so unusual. Someone came up to me who's familiar with my magazine, right in that audience, and he's always supported it, and very, very much. And he comes to me. I say, Shalom Aleichem, and welcome to my city from New York. And he starts telling me that he doesn't approve of what I'm doing in the magazine. Yet he couldn't articulate a single thing. I pushed very hard, and all I got out of him was a mashal, he said, an analogy. I think, because I don't know if people in English have the proper conceptual linguistic tools to express yourself. They really don't, and it's a big shame, and our children are really, really suffer because of that. Their minds are not developed in a certain subtlety and a certain, it's sharp in one way, and it's tremendous, the memory is astonishing that they acquire, but there's an analytical thinking, I just think that's not emphasized enough. And then you see some people that could challenge, and you see how they shine, like Rabbi Merkur, okay? He went to the yeshiva where I not everybody's like that. Very much the opposite. An open thing. So this guy comes to me, could not say a single thing that he had a problem with, but he said, I think he was getting at the idea of an inappropriateness. Because he said, there's sometimes that if we're bringing, when you're with people, I'm going to be speaking Monday night, God willing. I'm going to hope to broadcast that, so look forward to that. But when you speak in front of people, you have to be very sensitive to what message they can handle and how to deliver it to them, and which is your audience in particular. Is this an intimate enough setting to be able to communicate ideas to them? And I think this guy is completely and utterly wrong. Okay? Because if that's his message, he said that wasn't the issue that's at stake. His issue, he said his issue was something else, but I don't think it was. I think this is his issue. Why do we hold back on what we really believe? I think I know the answer. I think it's because we feel guilty that we don't live up to our own values. So don't tell them the secrets. Don't tell people what's underlying it. I like to focus on what is at the core of our religion. So I think about things that are really at the core. So check this out, okay? This is my thought today. I've been speaking about this, I think, last week, towards the end of the week. Today I become a man, look it up. Okay, that threw me off. My self-promotion just threw me off. Okay, so oh yeah, okay, I remember. I was talking about euphoria, rather. And when the moment of euphoria, when you realize that you are given such a gift, it may be in the future, okay? We're promised that God is going to console you to the point that your lips say, die, enough already. I want to be worthy. That's the foundation of everything. That's the relationship. Okay, that's what I wanted to get to before, and I'm getting in like 6 things that I want. I knew this would happen. I'm going to miss, okay. So when you give, so when you approach the king and he's pouring blessings on you, there's always this idea of caring about the other, okay? So you want to be worthy for the other, okay? So how do you accomplish that? What holds us back? Oh, so my thing is, if you actually get the gift of feeling that God cares about you and loves you, if you get that, what do you do with it? If you have euphoria, so that walking down the street to you or taking a sip of water makes you just feel a rush that there's no other word for except euphoria. That's my word. That's what really resonates with me, that idea. And I said why probably. The euphoria, it's all about you. So what can I give you back? If you're giving me everything, what do I do with that gift? You give the gift right back. Right back. That is the foundation of love. Okay? There's nobody left to hear that. One person. Whoever it is, Yosef Stein, welcome. That is the foundation of love. Yosef Stein comes on, and that's what I have to say right away, right? Morning. So I'm saying, so what would prevent someone from doing that? I'm talking about very high levels. I'm talking about a person who feels euphoria in serving God, okay? And it exists on other levels too. It also is interpersonal, okay? That's very important here. How it's an interpersonal message. It's not just a religious one. The two things are the same, and I could speak about that too, which will get me on the verge of heresy, God forbid. But these topics, I think we should look into them with the way we look into anything. So maybe I'll get to that later. This whole thing with Shina, oh my goodness. I asked this kid, the son of the Rosh Hashiva, okay, he's 14 years old or something, 15. Smart kid though. Do you learn Chassidut? And he said, yeah. I say, are you allowed to worship the Shekhinah? And he thinks for like a second, the kid's smart. He didn't say yes, but he said, why do we daven, not in these words exactly, why do we daven to the east? To behold the Shekhinah, to daven in the direction of the Yerushalayim, where the Shekhinah is. So Shekhinah has a physical manifestation in the world, right? That's why we daven that direction. That's fascinating, and I think it's a hint. Can you worship loved ones? I think that's such a heretical idea, but I think there's a secret somewhere in there. So to say things like this is probably an example of what he's talking about. This guy who cares about how our religion appears to people. People care about that because they care about the religion. I care too, and I don't want to see people walking around like morons. Not morons. That's actually not my language. I don't know why I said that. But my language is, you know what? I didn't say it because it's a bit unusual metaphor. I call them paper mache people. It just slipped out of my lips one time, and I thought, yeah, that actually is what bothers me. It's like a zombified look. I don't like the language of zombie, though. I like paper mache. I grew up with paper mache, not zombies. I went to like pottery class. So on our first shidduch with God, what do we do? First, God, of course, asserts himself as the warrior father figure that schleps you out of the dirt. Ervas haaretz. He takes us away from that ervas haaretz to be unified with him, the deity. The deity. What do you do on your first shidduch? So God first says, this is my resume. I'm a really good guy. What do they talk about? What was their first conversation? Who's the Shushprizin there's the Machinissa, and then there's the Malka? Shushpinin de Malka. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. He comes with, we spoke about the Shushpina de Machinissa. The chaperone. I keep forgetting that word, sorry. The chaperone of the Jewish people is the chaperone of God. So that's Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the community. He's the shadchan, right? He speaks on behalf of God, though God hired him. He's the man, right? Reaches out to us through his Shushpina de Malka, the king's shadchan. And what's their conversation? You can't marry without knowing somebody. So what does he show? What's the foundation of their love? What do they talk about? Will you accept a relationship with me, God says? And they say, we'll do whatever you say. What? Well, I didn't say what. What do you mean you'll do what I said? I didn't tell you what I wanted. I just want you. Euphoria. Right? I just want you. I want a relationship with you. So, what do they say back? We'll do whatever you say. Tati, you want to go on a vacation? When I'm there, okay, I have an inclination. I wrote about the two fat sages. Look that up, okay? God has an inclination. He had to impose on himself. Hu amar v'yehi zu isha. God said and the world came into being. That refers to, he spoke and decreed upon man that he would have a desire for woman. That's the level. He had to implant it. The one thing that God sort of implanted in our, the one thing that's mentioned, the one characteristic is that we should have this idea that we want a relationship. Because I think, and this is very important. Good morning. This is very important. So I had to lose it, right? Awesome. So when you're establishing the relationship based on, will you accept the relationship? What is God saying? Will you accept my mitzvahs? But you didn't tell me what they were. I don't care. What is mitzvah? It means to connect to God. Lashon tzavtza v'chibur. It means to connect, to bind yourself to God through the mitzvahs. God betroths us through the mitzvahs. When I put on tefillin, that's my wedding. I put it around my finger. Have you ever seen like the way they culturally display, like historically, the way they put on, they'd wrap something around their hand and then around their finger. They probably stole that from tefillin. The tefillin is the wedding band. That's what the Zohar says about why we wrap it around our finger. It's a ring. That's the whole wedding bind. Ring, I don't know. So at that moment, the nasa comes first. The nishma, yeah, whatever you say, you know. But so God had to implant that. Oh, can't remember now what I want to say. That if you took that away, if God keeps the mitzvahs, he does what we do. He put in us the desire to want to have a relationship. So he accepts that upon himself also. That binds him. So people want to say they want to just be aloof from the world, totally remove themselves from the world. There's a reason why God planted that. Because look how it resonates. That God's not going to go on vacation in the negative sense. He'll go on vacation in the positive sense. He's not going to leave and abandon. He put this in himself because he put it in us. So that in us, the man is supposed to have this natural inclination. That's his fire. I've spoken about that at so much length, but so I don't want to focus on that now. It's a topic I love. Some people, I had one guy that said, why do you keep on saying the word harness? So now I'm afraid to use that word. I need another word for it. Why people are so sensitive to the word harness? I spoke about this other guy who came to me today. What was he after? What was he saying? He was saying, you might actually inspire someone. So how dare you? They have a tradition. People look back. It's all about what happened on this day, what happened on that day. I'm telling you, that's their culture. I'm going to speak on Monday night. They're going to want to know every detail that happened 100 years ago. I have no idea. I do have an idea, but I don't know every detail. Let them hear it from somebody else. I have something to share them from my essence. So what happens? So what essence am I speaking about? So here I'm saying, I'm talking about the very highest level. You have the prophecy. You have the relationship with God is ecstatic, okay? So what do you do with it? This is my whole thing that I've been going through the past couple of weeks. What do you do with that gift? What do you do with your euphoria? You give it back, Nasa v'nishma. Whatever you want, I don't care. First it's going to be about, so wait, no, shidduch. What do you talk about? Know whether you like the person. Then you work out, do I go on a vacation, do I not go on a vacation? If you're a sensitive person, wouldn't you care about that? So you don't like planning aspect of something maybe, but you're there, this is the people that you care about. You spend time with people because you care about them. You respect and value their time and your time, therefore. You give to them. Yeah, but then on the other way, if the other person, it just happens to be aloof by nature, How did the two fat sages, what was their inspiration? Look it up. What was their inspiration? Their wives were even fatter than them, they said. And Rashi says, what does that mean? It drives me crazy. I could speak about this every day. It drives me crazy. What is the Machanissa? She's fatter than you. You have a desire to be aloof and therefore you can't have a relationship? You're too fat? You cannot possibly conceive? Look it up, okay? It's awesome. It's really worth looking up, okay? Two fat sages. I wrote about it too. It's awesome. They say their wives were fatter than, what did it mean? Rashi says, their desire for physical intimacy, if I remember correctly, inspires them, basically. Okay, that's the way I interpreted it. There's two answers. One, the wives are fatter than them, and that's the way I interpreted it. Or Rashi maybe said that. Okay, I'm getting confused now, right? And the other one is they physically compensated, and I looked that up because I don't want to get into that right now. So why do we say, first we say Shema to Hayim and Shemaya. Which do you say first? Hayim and Shema talks about the mitzvahs. We say Shema first. Shema says first, now I'm going to accept your El Malchus Shemayim. When you receive a yoke of heaven, how do you receive a yoke? I have such a burden. Oh, I got lost in the idea I was thinking before now. I didn't finish my thought for before. I'm sorry. I have to go back because I'll forget. This is important. So when you receive this gift and you give it back, what prevents someone from doing that? I know I'm talking about lofty levels. What prevents it? Because a person feels that to dive in like that, they get fearful. They are afraid they won't be able to handle it. They don't have this is what's at the core. They're lacking faith in themselves to trust that God, who is their creator, and therefore they have to be able to be dependent on him 100%. They're lacking the faith in themselves to make that move, that conceptual move. And so therefore, it's difficult for them to give back, to give that gift back. And it exists on different levels, I suppose. I'm talking about a really high level, really. So what would if someone's aware of this need to give back? Because it's like a cliche already, right? I've spoken about it about Yossi Schwartz, my friend, said this thing in the Sheverbach as he went on. You give a blessing to the Chassan and Kala, bride and the groom. That they should fight a lot. So what does it mean they should fight a lot? Oh my goodness, I didn't get to any of my topics. But they each one should fight for the other. No, you do your thing tonight. No, you do. I want to do your thing. That's what they should fight about. So that's like cliche. But implement that and think about how great your life would be if you treated people that you care about in that way. Okay, that's just one whole topic. I have so many other things. I think they're all going to resonate with each other. Let's just see the time. 9:48. We got some time. A little bit. I got check this out. It's crazy what's going on. Crazy. Good morning, Susie Goldstein, my neighbor. So, okay. Let's see if we can get into some of these ideas. Okay? I think you'll really like them. They are just made me crazy. Okay, I can't get this thing to stand up right. Pardon me. I don't know how to use it yet. Sorry. Oh, there we go. It's not. Okay, I'm not a professional cameraman. I'm sorry. These are ideas. It's not important. So I got into this topic. I'm going to be speaking about Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz. Okay. To me, there are 2 days in the year, and there's really only 1 day of the year. There's Gimel Tammuz, and there's also Chav Zayin Adar, which to me are like the same thing. It's 2 days in the year. The Rebbe's stroke, the Rebbe's Gimel Tammuz, Tafshin Mem Nun Daled, 1994. And the main day, the real essence of everything we're about now is obviously, some of you guys should know this by now. Good morning. Everything is the Rebbe's message on the 28th of Nisan, Tafshin Nun Aleph. He said, I've done everything I can. It's all about you now. Now you have to do everything. That is the only message that we have to live with. Why? Because the Rebbe says you have to be a leader. And nobody is doing that. And that, I know why now. Because I had someone that I've been I've known him, what do you call that? Okay, words are slipping my mind. I've known him for a long time, and I know that he knows about my magazine and everything. But he's coming to me to silence me. for no reason except don't share the secrets. Okay? He didn't tell me I was wrong on any topic. Maybe he did, but he could not articulate it with me, and I pushed him as hard as I can, and I'm a pretty aggressive person, right? So I really pushed him. And he wouldn't say a single thing other than that. So it's a matter of sharing secrets. That is the whole problem. That's what the whole problem with the Baal Shem Tov, the whole problem with the Alter Rebbe. Everything is about that. The Mezritch and Maggid, they all had the same problem. You're sharing secrets? How dare you? I spoke about the dog, the black dog that came to the Alter Rebbe. The Satan himself embodied for the third time in history the original sin, the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. And don't you dare take the key to Mashiach. Don't you dare. I will come down in this world to stop it. That's this voice that talked to me this morning. They couldn't say a single thing. No issues. That's always the sign that you are saying something good and you should go further. What could they interrogated the Alter Rebbe. He laughed at their last question. Sari Meinu laughed at Pare. Kissed. Okay, I don't want to say the Alter Rebbe would say it. Remember, put it fast. Kushan Tuchas. There's another chassid down on his deathbed. He said those words. He didn't say Shema Yisrael. He said, Kushan Tuchas. I am not going to allow my ego to get in the way of this final moment. Kushan Tuchas, he said to his own ego, and he threw himself into God. I don't care. People are going to say, I'm saying Shema, I look like such a chassid. That's not it. His intimacy with God was beyond. It was internal, it was real. And he said, Kushan Tuchas. But that's a message. The way I was taught that message by Rabbi Avram Lipsker, my mashpia, person who woke up my soul, second time, okay, first Dr. Block and company, Yirmiyahu Harrison, really awoke my soul, but that was the first start of it. My mother, I guess, right? When I was a little kid. Anyways, so what are the secrets? Oh, I got into an idea that just blew my mind. Okay, my mind was blown this Shabbos. Because so I'm saying that I want to speak. What am I going to speak about to these kids? They want to know anybody. So I'm saying, Yud Beis Yud Gimel Tammuz is about Gimel Tammuz. What's Gimel Tammuz? Look it up. I can't do everything in one foot. Love your fellow as yourself, okay? I love you. Go look it up. You love me. Go look it up. Love yourself. Look it up. What happened on Gimel Tammuz? Yeshua stopped the sun. What does that mean? What is the sun? I've spoken about it at great length, how the sun does not stand still. Even if you want to say it's a solar system, that solar system is a vortex flying through the universe. And that's what it says in Kabbalah. That's what we're taught. And that's its whole being. Its whole being expressed in its song. And what is its song? This diving through the universe, this soaring. What is it soaring towards? To bow before God. And it rages through the sky to do that. Nothing gets in its way. I spoke about it. I think it was a Radak, a Malvin. Look it up. Or beg me to look it up, right? Bother me. Care, or just don't listen. It's not about whether my fingernails look nice, because they don't. I wasn't blessed with fingernails. I can't complain though, Baruch Hashem. My name is Baruch, right? It says, La yishbaisu. That word I've been writing about, okay, now I see it's in another context. La yishbaisu is talking about the orbit of the heavenly bodies. This is something they do not do, their very nature. Their whole roaring across the skies, their whole nature. It's their praise of God, it's their whole being. With all the fire that you can imagine. Look up what a sun is. It's not like a thing that your kid paints on you. That's something else. That's the euphoria, right? That's the euphoria in life. If people have children, they're so blessed. I think if you have children, you know what I'm talking about. That's the euphoria. So that's the achdus that leads to the euphoria of. That's how you stand before God. Areini makabel mitzvasas shevahaptel recha kamecha is the whole foundation of our davening. It's the Adonai Svosai Tiftach. I'm nothing. I'm just all about you. I'm just going to listen to you. Behold the Shekhinah. It's not about making of myself. This is what they're afraid to hear. Just be you. Just let go of all the garbage and just be real for a minute. Who are you? Behold the Shekhinah. It's before your eyes, everyone's eyes. That's why it's a mitzvah to daven. Okay, there's some debate what gather that is. So that you cannot stop the sun, but Yeshua does stop the sun. And the significance of that is mind-blowing. It just blows my mind. How much time do we have? Not very much. Oh, you get bold. You don't have children, you should be blessed with children in the right time and with the right person. What could be a bigger blessing than that? May it be Mekuyam. Because God loves every one of us. He's going to take us by the hand, and it's happening now. People are so afraid of it. Just wake up to it. That's what the Rebbe's been saying. He's been waiting for someone to articulate in our language. So people are afraid of our language because they only do that in an inappropriate way. Bring that outside to our children. Don't say that you're made out of paper mache, afraid to have a voice. This guy's afraid to write me back. Why hasn't he written me back? I spoke once. I didn't speak. They didn't let me speak, okay? I had some guy yelling at me. That was the way I had to speak to defend myself in front of 100 people. Someone was yelling at me just because I was associated with a magazine. He didn't know a single thing about me. Never read anything I've ever written. Screaming at me this is not the first time it's happened. It's the second time it happened. Now it's the third. But this guy's believes in what I believe. He's talking about something else, which is fascinating. This is what's holding back the Gula. I'm almost certain. The paper mache man that says you have secrets of the Torah that you want to inspire people with. Don't you dare say that. How dare you? They'll misunderstand it. He actually said those words. They will misunderstand. That's what he told me. He wouldn't say a single example. He'd say, I'm too graphic. Maybe you could say that. Look what it says in the Alter Rebbe. How do you daven? Behold the Shekhinah. Listen to her voice. Do you know what the voice... Oh my goodness. It's going to blow me away. This is what led... I know I'm missing whole steps here, but I just jumping to the chase. What I got. The difference between souls and angels is in their song. And I read something just this Shabbos that blew my mind. I never saw it before. What is the song of angels? Oh my goodness, if I see the words. Let me just tell you the words that I read. It says, Ba'amdam tarfena kanfehem. I think I've got a translation of that here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, check out this verse, okay? This has to resonate with you or just get off my channel. Ve'eshmas kel kanfehem. I heard the voice. Okay, what is the voice of angels? Check this out. This is a verse, I didn't bring the source. It's Yechezkel 1:24. I remember it. Ve'eshmas kol kanfehem. I heard the voice of their wings. I looked up what that meant. I know what it means in Tanya. I don't want to say it because I'd have to get into it to really... I'll say it later maybe, if I have time. I'm running out of time. They heard the voice of their wings. Kekil mayim rabim. What do their wings look like, by the way? This. Straight up. Like the Kruvim. That's what they're... I read some information what that means. They have 2 arms. Talked about zugos. It's all about a relationship. I mean, 2 hands. Okay, 5, whatever. It's too much. I'm overwhelmed with excitement for that stuff. It's hard for me to even talk about. They have 2 arms. I read Meforshim, I think it was a Malbim. And maybe the Barbanel also a little bit. I think it was a Malbim. They have 2 arms because one of them is drawing down from God to receive and one is giving back. I don't know how that would look. Their wings are their arms. So they have points, I guess, on either end. One of them is for receiving and one is for giving. I've been speaking about whether angels only receive. I found a source for that. I speak about otherwise. Here's a nice source for the otherwise. Okay, it's right in the Mefarshei Pasuk, the commentaries on this verse. Ve'eshmas kel kanfeim. I heard the voice of their wings. They make song with their wings, not their mouth. It says in davening we say they open their mouth. Where does the sound come from? I don't know if it comes out of their mouth. It says here it comes out of their wings. Kekil mayim rabim, like great waters. I looked up what that meant. It's the spirit of Mashiach hovering over the waters. What are waters? Your pleasure in life, who you are, your dreams, your vacation. Who you are. What do you do when you're on vacation? I learn, okay? I'm sorry, that's what I do. That's what I love. That's what I live for. That's my vacation. Okay? I'm sipping a daiquiri on a lawn chair with all my Sfarim like just dished out before me. And someone getting them for me, okay? I'll pay anything to do that. Well, I once said, look at my 3-hour brewing. I said I'll give someone $1,000 to get the right answer. They got the right answer. Now you won't accept the money. I'm saying I'm writing a check, later to someone. So who do you want to go to eat? It's a long story. Okay. When they moved, I could hear the sound of their wings, like the sound of mighty waters. That's the spirit of Mashiach, hovering over the waters before creation. Like the sound of Shindalad Yud. Okay, it's the name of God, which makes me crazy. A tumult like the din of an army. Imagine an army with this fear that caused troops, mighty men, to run in those days. Look up Tanakh. When they stood still, they would let their wings drop down. They give a different word for that. I don't like it, so that's the way I'm translating it. It really means that they went lax. They just went still. They fell at their sides. Why? It's awesome. Be'amdam. The word be'amdam. I think he tells me to look it up in Lakutei Torah made right here. Oh no, this is the Sikha. Be'amdam. Oh, here it is. It's a nutrican. It's a word made up of 3 words. And it means Be'amdam. Shebayim Yisrael, that the Jewish people come, Hanikra Am, that are called a nation, Am Zu Yitzarti Li, I formed this nation for me, God says. Liyachet Shmel HaKadosh Baruch Va'im Shema Yisrael. We come, the Jewish people come before God to devote ourselves to his name, which means we only care about you, God. That's what it means, okay? Translate it your own stupid way. Sorry, I'm just I'm so upset. It's affecting me. I don't care if they want me to resign. I really don't care. This is not a person that's officially, whatever. It's a voice. We have voices that stop us from doing things, not people. No people stops us from doing things. We have voices. How much of that voice is your voice? What is your voice? When you listen, do you hear the Shekhinah? Do you know the true integrity that exists at your core, that your whole being is devoted to? That's the giving back. And what stops us is fear. So that's what I want to say. That when you realize that it's fear that stops you, you're afraid to receive that gift and to give it back. Okay, that's another step. What stops us? It's fear. We don't feel we have the strength to handle it. We're afraid to dive in. So what does it mean? When did the angels drop their wings and shut their mouths? To listen, chashmal. The angels are called electricity. Like our brain, remember I spoke about synapses are electrical. They're called chashmal, electricity. Why? Because they malilais, they speak. They sing. They talk, they express. And they chash, they're silent. One of the Meforshim say the voice of God, so it's chash. It speaks in the quiet, soft voice of God. Because if you're going to express the voice of God, which is the mighty waters, what does that sound? The mighty waters kill Dmama Daka, I think it says. In Yeshayahu, is it? Kill Dmama Daka, a soft voice, a whisper. Because how are you going to express the mighty roar, the mighty waters of God, the spirit of Mashiach that floats on top of the water? It's a whisper. Because it's too terrifying to let out totally, so you have to silence it. Behold the Shekhinah. There's a machinistic to every person. That's Hashem taking you by the hand. Every single person. So I have integrity at all levels. Okay? The angels sing. Okay, we spoke from where briefly. I'm just so much here. Okay? That's their wings. Okay, so did I explain that? Ba'amdam. Ba'amdam. When they stood, they would let their wings fall to their sides because they're no longer a conduit. They listen. They're not receiving from on high. They're beholding something greater. And that's what's at point here, I think. This is just an idea I'm getting right now. That it's the God's love for the Jewish people. And we'll see why if we have time. And it's incredible. God's love for the Jewish people is expressed in the way that their song is silent. It doesn't say that they sing. It says in the Torah, it says about the angels that they sing. It doesn't say that explicitly about the Jewish people. It says rather in the Midrash, in the Mishnah, it says, Kol balei hasher yetzim hasher nimshachim hasher. It's talking about whether you could take an animal out. You're not allowed to an animal to do work for you on Shabbos. So are they allowed to carry things? They're not allowed to carry things, but are they allowed to go out with a collar and a ring on it, and that might have a string that might wrap around the animal's neck? Okay, I think it's an adornment. I can't remember the exact commentary there, but are you allowed? So all these animals that go out regularly with these things, their collar on, which resonates really beautifully, right? I've spoken about that before. You're allowed to actually grab them by the rope and direct them, it says in the Mishnah. So they're allowed to go out with their thing on, and you could be draw them with their rope on their neck to use it. Okay, but what does that mean with us? So that the souls sing. That's our reference to it. And the whole idea of a song with the souls is since they are purely spiritual. This is very difficult to understand, okay? But bear with me. It says, the Ramban Paskins, even though Rambam says, Maimonides says, the angels are completely intellectual, Ramban disagrees, and Chassidus Paskins according to the Ramban on this. And it's a beautiful topic. He says, angels are made out of the two elements. Every physical thing, Rambam writes, is composite of four elements. Every single thing, even air, is made out of earth, okay? All the four elements have to be in every single thing in the physical world. But angels are half physical. They have two elements. They have fire and air. They don't have earth and water. They're lacking that. So they're ephemeral. There's a type of ephemeral, ethereal type of existence called an angel, according to what we believe, which is impossible. We prove it from the fact that speaks about their sizes, how big they are. They occupy space in the world physically. Huge, though, like supercluster size. And beyond that. Oh, okay, I have this word highlighted. It's just jumping out in my eyes. Shenishmas la'aznei hanavi. Their song, when we're speaking about angels, their song is heard, because they're physical, their song is heard audibly to the prophet. That's what it says here. What's not so about the song of the souls? It's not heard. Because the soul unto itself is completely spiritual. Interestingly and fascinatingly, in the whole core of our belief system, is that niyatz seifim b'teklasim b'teklasim seifim. God makes a yin yang, okay, to make it easy to say, and so it's a word you'll understand. The essence of what the extreme is the opposite, always. That's what I was talking about before, about the shidduch and the vacation and the whole thing. So you have the greatest yin yang expresses the greatest truth and the depth and the reality. So specifically the Jewish soul had to be invested in a physical body. And that's why the angels challenged, don't give them the Torah, don't create them, don't give them the Torah, the whole thing. I want to say this Maimer, I should translate the Maimer Blinera because it's awesome. So it says that the angels, we say they're a chashmal, sometimes they're speaking, sometimes they're a lightning bolt, sometimes it's dark, sometimes the light up, they're like this. Okay, that's the angels. But it says, by this Jewish souls, they praise Hashem constantly, Sela, forever, Bli hefsek, which means to say there's no interruption. They never stop. It says that the lower light constantly cries out for the higher light. That's the Jewish soul. That's the Malchus, that's the Matranissa. All you have to do is listen, and she's singing always. You don't get that. You're not the Navi to hear the voice of the angel singing. It's greater than an angel. We use these as examples to understand things. Because God, that's why God made angels, to say if God loves angels like that, or his relationship with angels like that, how much more so? And you have to understand, that's what the whole point of learning is. That's why the secrets of the Torah are so people are terrified to share this. Terrified. God forbid to say it in ways people will understand. God forbid to use their language. The things that they're actually doing, where they're going to basketball games or whatever. Why? Make that real to them. The Torah is real. I know some people that scream out the Torah when and I call a covet. If you will light up in the neshama because of that, God should bless you in this world and the next forevermore. That's what it's all about. So Yeshua stops the sun in Gimel Tammuz to show that the connection to the Jewish people is supernatural. There's nature. There's different interpretations of this, okay? One of them, okay, I'll share this one. There's a natural. An angel, the sun represents an angel, okay? I'll talk about that another time. When you stop its song, you're cutting off the energy. So their enemies now fell away before them. The Jewish people now are in the spotlight. The angels shut up. They shut up the sun. They didn't have power. The sun is a source for energy. People used to worship the sun. These people got energy from the sun. We get energy from God. He tells us how to interact with the sun. We have mitzvahs involving the sun at great length. He tells us how to interact with the sun, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. I think what I say is appropriate. You don't like it? Don't listen to me. You don't want me in the magazine? Please. I actually feel I should get fired. And if I don't get fired, I'm failing you. And I say you meaning every single person I could reach to. I'm failing you if I don't get fired, because everyone should really fire people up enough to push. Because if you believe in something, everyone has ein de'asem shavis. If you're a leader, how dare you keep that to yourself? In these times when the Rebbe told us that's the whole avodah, to be a leader. Don't you dare make my religion into something that happened once upon a time. God forbid. That's not the Torah. The Torah is alive now, always. There's always the Shekhinah speaking. If you don't hear the Rebbe speaking, why don't you learn some Chassidus and see what it says? Just shut up and listen to the Shekhinah. You don't hear the Rebbe speaking? Bring him into your life in the most deep, real way, in your language, so that you hear the Kanfei HaShekhinah. There's no Kanfei HaShekhinah. The Kanfei HaMalachim. That gets them to stand still. So here, you're saying Shema, your connection to Hashem. That's the vacation. That's the whole shidduch. Vacation is supposed to be a shidduch in the sense that it's supposed to be fun. It's not about a mission. That's the vacation, when you get to know the person beyond what you're going to do today. Maybe, what if you present an idea? I like to go underwater fishing. Ice water fishing. I don't actually, but... So I would relate to that is, if I don't like it, but it's important to you. So in what way can I get involved with that? You negotiate because you care. It's a very simple thing, an obvious thing. Most people are lacking the maturity to really know whether they care about somebody. That's the problem. They're not prepared to make that move. That's the fear that I said is what prevents us from making the ultimate move. I think that's something worthy to end on. Have a great day, everybody.